The 5-minute fire watchers are back, and today's title will be flight coordinates, and this will deal with what we're dealing with every day. Let's get into it. Yes, salute to all my fellow veterans across the board in the military and civilian theaters. Excuse me. Pray you guys are in good health, taking care of business, and being the better versions of yourself each day. So now the 5-minute fire watchers are back. This implies with myself as well. And I send a shout out to all the subscribers, both new and old. Welcome to my channel. Always hit the comment section and let me know what you guys think on each message or conversation need to be discussed. So in dealing with today's conversation, I want you guys to know a fun fact. Did you know that cyberspace scissoring and digital dick riding are among the leading causes of internal and communal conflicts today? Something you want to put under your hat. So now today, here's why this conversation is being brought about. As we speak, the communal vultures are picking away and doing what vultures do in the name of someone who's passed shamelessly. So I ask you individuals, in the wake of my brother's birthdays, how important is it to you to make those needed flight coordinates, that course correction, now that today is aimed in some aspects after death? But in certain circles, it's AK, after Kevin. This includes a lot of your internet idols and a lot of people who are out here doing some digital dick riding on and offline. We as men need to get back to our true nature when we're talking about opposing environment, not nurturing or nesting in our negative narratives. So there are 3 things I want to propose to my brothers out here in this short span of time. Number 3, always vet the birds allowed to fly alongside you. If you notice the flight patterns of geese, for example, you always have one in the head and they fly in a pattern as a matter of support, protection, exercising the 4 Ps in many ways. They have system and order structure. This goes vetting your circles, understanding that certain people can't go to the heights you're aspiring to go because you're willing to tap into your nature. And remember, certain birds can't fly to a certain height. What do you look like trying to drag a chicken beyond its limitations? This goes back to our street lamp conversations or tableside talks. Instead of sitting on these cyberspace circle jerks, wasting our time running around with these negative narratives and goofy shit, whatever happened to getting outside in the first place? And when you get outside, you vet the people who you allow to represent you, not just around you, but when you're not looking at them. Which leads me to number 2. A heavily decorated shitbird is still a shitbird. There will be people who misunderstand the necessity of knowing quality over quantity. Now, there are people who have bells and whistles and they, do all these nefarious things on and offline to get the so-called notoriety or attention of the gullible sheep. But it doesn't matter how much, if you have 1 million or 1 billion people who follow your narrative, if you are still a shitbird, you're still a shitbird. There's certain things you can't rent, lease, or buy. What good does it pay to have $1 billion or $1 trillion? And you can't have a solid organic friend by your side. healthy relationships to where people can push and motivate you to be your best self. When you're in your most vulnerable and broken state, you can't afford to have anybody fuck with you for real. So it doesn't matter what title you put on a shitbird. Who that individual is going to manifest itself in real time. Some people vision themselves as eagles when really they're carrier pigeons or chickens meant to be devoured. But again, that leads into number one, flight or free fall. Your wings, your choice. As I said before, in certain circles, it is May 12th, 2022, AK, after Kevin. Many individuals decide to put internet idols as their Christ and Savior. And no, I do not accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I glean the information from solid people across the board. Some who are probably listening to this now. And if it applies to me, I apply it to my life accordingly. If I can't use it, I'll set it aside or discard it in its proper time. This is what we as men must do in this real time as this world is changing, not just with us, but in many ways against us. But it comes down to the use of your wings or lack thereof. It's time for us to get out the nest of this negative narrative that we call out here shame, blame, and explain. Or trying to invest in Stovecoin. Trying to go overseas and fry Crunchy Foot Carla or Carlita and nurture her because she gives us some access to free ass when really she knows what you're doing. As men, we have to tap into our trades, our skills, our respective gifts, and take flight in that way. That way we promote our own legacy. Remember that we take that flight of the phoenix. We've been burnt. We've been through a lot of things, but you know the phoenix's plumage glows so brightly that it's nearly blinding to those that weren't meant to look at it. It's meant to soar, just as we are. Now, if you choose to free fall, you gotta know there's a big difference between eagles who dive bomb on their targets, using the sun as camouflage before they pounce on their target, which means your objective. Or you choose to free fall because you're fearful of the responsibility of using your wings and being dashed against the rocks below, publicly or socially. So with that being said, I'm encouraging you guys, especially us men, with the constant threats of extinction, homelessness, fatherlessness, the very things that people love to ignore. This is our time in the age of the creative to take flight and take our rightful place as men who oppose environment and reclaim our lives as respectable men, putting weight on our name. Instead of peacocking for a bunch of hyenas. When you take flight the right way, you'll be able to maneuver from those hyenas rather than trying to negotiate with them. Of course, there's going to be other dangers, but it makes no sense to not adjust your patterns and be a waste of wings and be extinct just like the dodo bird. With that, that's been the 5-Minute Firewatch Plus. I pray you guys are well. Never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin, and Semper Fi. Much love to you guys. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Peace.